Hey YouTube, Rameko here. I've been working on this Artifact EDH deck for a long time, and before I actually start, I want to say that I've been waiting since, I guess, December until now for Gatecrash to come out, and once Gatecrash comes out, I have 2 boxes. I'll do the box openings, and I'll also update my trade binder. So I've been kind of prolonging my trade binder for a long time. I have been making trades, but the cards really just, haven't changed all that much in their fluctuation for me to make a whole new video. And I just want to kind of pause on the trading until Gatecrash comes out, which is at the end of next week. So that being said, expect some new videos then with regards to box openings and trade binder videos. This video is going to be about my Artifact EDH deck. So let's just get a quick start on it to see what's in it. So we'll start with the land base, and we'll talk about what the deck is there for after. And it's a very fun deck, so let's keep that in mind. It's not supposed to be super hyper competitive or like we win on turn 4 or anything like that. So let's start with this. It does use all colors of the mana in the mana spectrum, I guess, but more so the colors of red, blue, and black. But let's start with our lands: Arcane Sanctum, Island, Swamp, Swamp, City of Brass, Command Tower, Polluted Delta, Great Furnace, another Swamp, Island, Dragon Skull Summit, another Island, Flooded Strand, Crumbling Necropolis. See if it focuses here. Crumbling Necropolis, Drowned Catacomb, which will be switched for the Shock Land of the blue-black variant soon. Ancient Den, Arid Mesa, Seat of the Synod, Mirrodin's Core, Bloodstained Mire, Blood Crypt, Mountain, another Mountain, Exotic Orchard, Temple of the False God, Spanish there, Vault of Whispers, another Mountain, Steam Vents, Plains, Hallowed Fountain, Sulphur Falls, another Plains, Academy Ruins, Overgrown Tomb, and Temple Garden. I'll be posting the deck list so you can kind of see all of this stuff below, so don't worry about the fact that the mountains and stuff, weren't all together or something like that. As for the sorcery, there is Dreadbore, which is fantastic. Oh, that's not a sorcery. Devil's Play, All is Dust, and since we're using a lot of artifacts in this deck, the fact that All is Dust makes everybody sacrifice colored permanents is fantastic. Thoughtcast, open the vaults, bring back all those artifacts and enchantments. There's only one enchantment. Bonfire of the Damned, Banefire, and Cruel Ultimatum. And this is always a challenge to pull off, but it is a very worthy challenge to undertake, especially in EDH, and it's very satisfying. So let's move into instants, and I suppose we'll start with Spell Crumple, which is a fantastic instant for EDH counterspell. Chaos Warp, one of the coolest red kind of instant spells that I've ever found printed. Really, really nice. Go for the Throat, because it's awesome. Swords to Plowshares, because it's a staple. Asper Charm, really, really good in this deck. Once again, difficult to cast, but we are playing all 5 colors, and we really do have good mana fixing. Doomblade, Thirst for Knowledge, and I would play Counterspell, but I didn't have a second one, so I'm just playing Stoic Rebuttal, which is essentially a counterspell, because we're going to have Metalcraft all the goddamn time. Only one enchantment, you can guess what that is. Tempered Steel. Fantastic enchantment, gives us the kind of blowout we need, and I'll show you guys how that's going to work soon. For the regular artifacts and not creature artifacts, we have Mycosynth Lattice, which is friggin' awesome. It's like the craziest card. We have Door of Destinies, which can be activated very, very quickly. It can be, you know, it just gets better and better. It's a fantastic card. Mox Opal, pretty staple. Let's get that to focus there. Focusing, yes, no, yes. Alright, there we go. Mox Opal, fantastic. Jester's Cap, and another amazing card. You guys should definitely look this up. It is so cool. Urza's Incubator, really cool card as well. Batter Skull, you guys know this from New Phyrexia, fantastic card. Belwar Stone, mana fixing. Chromatic Lantern, more mana fixing. Darksteel Ingot, additional mana fixing, and Gilded Lotus. So that's all for the regular artifacts. Before we get into the creatures, I actually want to show you guys the fact that this deck runs 9 Planeswalkers. So like I said in the beginning, this deck is really for fun, and it works very well. The fixing is good, the playability is good, and I've won a lot of games with it. Even in the short playtime it's been tested. But there's 9 Planeswalkers in this deck, and we'll start with Jace, Memory Adept. And each of these Planeswalkers is just an annoyance for the opponent. This one's, you drop them on the field and just start milling your opponent. It's just hilarious. They have to try to get rid of it. And keep in mind that this EDH deck is primarily for 1 versus 1 kind of things. We have Tezzeret the Seeker, seek out all those artifacts, and also seek out all those artifact lands if you're ever in the need to get some more artifact lands for Affinity. We also have Liliana Vez, probably the best iteration of Liliana printed in terms of EDH. It is fantastic. We have Karn Liberated. When this guy's on the field, it's just all hell breaks loose. Everyone's trying to go after this guy, and he's the easiest card to get out on turn 7, if that's believable, right? And his first 2 effects are just insane. Absolute insane. We have Vraska the Unseen, and she's primarily there for the destroy target non-land permanent. And then if your opponent is if you get her on turn 5, just keep +1ing her and then -7 her. And if your opponent really has nothing to do by turn 8 for whatever reason, if they're playing a slow deck that's building up to something, those assassin tokens are just going to win you the game. So she's just one of those annoying threats that your opponent kind of freaks out about and really wants to get her off the field. But I might change that for something else. Maybe, yeah, something else. Definitely something else as we move along. Nicol Bolas. You know, when M13 came out and they said face a greater challenge, they really meant casting this guy at any given time, anywhere, would be that kind of challenge. So have fun trying to cast him, but this deck primarily focuses on blue, black, and red, so we can fairly easily cast him, but once he comes down, he's going to wreck face. Nicol Bolas is the ultimate Planeswalker. We have Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. And that's our second Tezzeret, which is pretty fantastic as well. We have Sorin Markov, self-explanatory. He's one of the hardest Planeswalkers to cast because of triple black, which is why we have so much fixing. But he comes down on the field, boom, your opponent's life becomes 10. It is possible to cast him on turn 7 or 6. But yeah, no, like, it's a fantastic card. And I have won games with that way. Final Planeswalker is Jace the Mind Sculptor, and if you can kind of get the theme of the Planeswalkers that are in here, they're just kind of the best Planeswalkers that have been printed up to this point. They wreck face, and essentially nobody wants to mess with them. You really want to get them off the field as fast as possible because they generate value all the time, as long as they're out. So finally, for the artifact creatures, we have Steel Overseer. Give them artifacts +1/+1 every turn. We have Arcbound Silt, very cheap to bring out and very easy to kind of get going. And it's just one of these things where the artifact creatures are very small, so your opponent doesn't consider them a threat until it's kind of too late. Broodstar, you know, affinity for artifacts. We get this out very, very quickly. Solemn Simulacrum, fixing. Also an artifact, draws you a card. Signal Pest gives you that battle cry. Really, really cool. Mirror Silver, or Silver Mirror. We have 4 or 5 mirrors in this creature kind of part of this deck. And they all produce mana, and it doesn't matter if they're 1/1. They'll become stronger very, very quickly. Master of the Ethereum gives your artifacts +1/+1, or the creatures, and also it powers itself up through the fact that you have artifact creatures. Filigree Angel, drop this on turn 8, reasonably get yourself like 20 more life. Pretty funny, or so I've found. Nobody sees that coming down. Ethereum Sculptor, give your artifact spells, or make them cost 1 less, always fantastic. Mycosynth Golem, every artifact now has affinity, so it pretty much is like, once this guy comes down, it pretty much breaks face for the rest of the game. It is pretty fantastic. Iron Mirror gives you red for the mana pool. Zealous Conscripts, steal one of their best guys and start owning them. Hopefully you steal their general, whatever, right? Magister Sphinx, this is pretty much Sorin Markov's second ability. Comes into play, opponent's life goes to 10. Fantastic card. Got it in foil. Really, really cool. Darksteel Juggernaut, indestructible, kind of like Ethereum Sculptor, so it kind of beats face as well. Alloy Mirror gives you any of the colors you want. Enigma Sphinx, Cascade. Cascade's definitely good in this deck. It's pretty fantastic. Why will this not focus? Cascade. If you guys can see that. Alright, fantastic. Spellskite, it's good, it's just cheap. It's a 0/4. Like all the other artifacts in this deck, is multi-purpose. It will grow into something that's beyond 0/4. And it's good to have, although I've been thinking about replacing it with something else. Phyrexian Metamorph, really, really good. Gold Mirror, color fixing. Blightsteel Colossus. This is the kind of shit that wrecks face and is also indestructible. Trample, Infect. Oh my god, this guy's bonkers. Etched Champion, because you want this kind of effect. Metalcraft, we get that easily. Metallurgian, regenerate those artifacts. Wormcoil Engine, probably like the best artifact creature ever to be ever printed. It's just insane. I don't even know why they printed this card. It's fucking insane. Either Sorn Canonist. You have so many artifacts that you can reasonably play more than 1 card a turn while it limits your opponent. GRS Toolbox. Regenerate more artifact creatures. Leaden Mirror. Give yourself some black mana. Master Transmuter. Get that Blightsteel Colossus out on turn 5. It's very possible to do that. That's the kind of shit that you want to pull with this deck, if possible. Why will this not focus? Alright, great. But you guys get the idea. Beautiful card, beautiful effect. I forgot one last artifact, but this is also an artifact that Master Transmuter can just drop down on turn 5. And from this point on, all of your artifacts are indestructible. Now, that is freaking amazing. Darksteel Forge. All your artifacts indestructible. Whew! Alright, so this is a really cool deck. I like it a lot. It is fun to play. It is not reasonably priced, as you can probably tell from all the Planeswalkers and shenanigans we have going on in here, and all the dual lands and stuff. This is a very expensive deck. But I had most of the cards, around 80% of the cards, just lying around in my trade binder and stuff, and I figured, you know what, let's make this deck, let's make it happen, let's try it out. It's creative. I haven't seen many like it, if at all, and that's pretty much where I'm coming from with this deck. Ask me any questions you have in the comments below. This is Rumeko signing out for now until Gatecrash comes out. Cheers.